So you want this guy, and you want him to want you. You're a woman with a voice, a woman who has her own opinion, a woman who can bring something to the table when it comes to making decisions, seeing things clearly, and providing a healthy and accurate perspective. But part of the struggle in attracting that masculine man is answering the question, are you exuding your feminine energy? Are you leading with the energy that's going to draw to you the things that you desire and want in your life? Now, I'm not gonna lie to you ladies. These types of videos, I feel some kind of way about, all right? And I'll explain more in detail why, but I'll say from the jump, I feel some kind of way about it because a lot of videos like this tend to try to teach you guys tricks and games to play to pique a man's interest. And that can become very problematic because now in playing this game, a lot of times you end up playing yourself, as well as you're trying to get a man that you want but you don't need and is not truly best for you. And so I really want you to be mindful of that in regards to like, is this dude really, this man really best for you? Is this really what you need? Is this really gonna work in the long term? Because jumping through all these hoops or doing all these different things to make him want you can end up with you becoming more hurt and damaged, all right? But I do wanna give you first some tips that can increase your desirability to a man, can draw his attention more, in a healthy way. Again, because I don't like the whole playing games and tricks, but I do think there's things that we can tap into as individuals that help us achieve the results that we're looking for. All right, so let me give you some quick ones, and then I got a very important message I need you to hear at the end. So tip number one, find your confidence. All right, the reality is that confidence looks good on everybody. Confidence is sexy, all right? And when you are a confident woman, you're going to stand out more. You're going to be able to catch his interest more. Because essentially, a confident woman, even a confident person, but specifically in this video, we're talking about you as a woman, a confident woman conveys a understanding of her value to the man. When you're confident, it's like, I know I'm good stuff. I know what I bring to the table. And it makes a man say, well, dang, if she's that confident, I want a piece of that. I want to know what's all this good stuff she got. And I'm not talking about just sex. I'm like overall you as a woman, all right? So, and it's the same thing again. When you see a confident man, it makes you feel like, well, dang, what has he got? I might want some of that too. You know, that's a very natural occurrence when someone exudes confidence. So as a woman, you've got to find your confidence, because if you are very insecure around this man, if you don't feel good about yourself, if you're not confident, that is usually going to backfire on you. That's usually going to work against you. And so if you are lacking in confidence, locate the areas that hinder it. Figure out, okay, what can I improve that helps me feel more confident? It might be finding the style that works with you. When I say style, your style of clothes, because again, certain people can put on a certain outfit and it doesn't feel good. Like you don't like the way you look in it. And if you don't like the way you look, you won't be confident. And you can put a different style of outfit, and the style is up to you and what works for you. Everyone's different. But when you find that style that speaks to you and that you feel good in, now you're going to exude that confident energy. So be confident. Find your confidence. Be confident. Number two, exude that positive and feminine energy. All right. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to lean more towards positivity in this one, simply because depending on the man you want, and again, like I said, you need to be really mindful of who you think you want and if they're really best for you. But depending on the man you want, femininity may or may not be as high of a priority. Because if you want what some people consider a high value man, or a man who's very accomplished, he's more likely to put more value on your feminine energy. If, let's say you're young, this guy's in high school, he may not even understand the whole feminine thing. Even though I would still argue it still helps in most cases, it's possible some guys want a tough girl, you know, and I wouldn't want you to try to be acting hard and tough. That's not who you are. But, and in most cases, that's not who you are. But, we'll explain that in a whole different video. But the point is that it can vary depending on the type of guy that you want and where you are in your life. So with that said though, positive energy tends to still be across the board a desirable thing that at least catches a man's attention and draws a man to you. I will say that positivity and femininity is more likely to draw you a healthy man, all right? But again, that aside, positive energy. So you have to find that within yourself, find that happiness, find that joy, because again, who wants to be around a miserable person? Who wants to be around a negative Nancy? That's not what the typical person desires. Hell, a woman doesn't want all that negativity around her either. Why would a man? So as a woman, tapping into that positivity is definitely going to make you more desirable and make him want you. Number 3, showing and expressing interest. All right. So here's the thing that a lot of women overlook. If you notice, the woman who is willing to flirt, compliment, show interest, she can get a lot further with a lot more guys, because that showing of interest definitely catches a man's attention, because men are so used to being the ones that have to show the interest, have to pursue the woman, have to in some cases chase, even though I do not co-sign chasing. But because they're so used to being in that position, all right, and not having the woman always really be expressive about her desire and interest, when a woman does that, that hits hard. That really grabs his attention. And hell, there's a lot of men who like the women that like them. Like if there's other desirable things about her, because simply liking him doesn't guarantee you're going to get him. Let's just be honest here. But if he already sees you as desirable and then you express interest in him, it doesn't mean pursue him. It doesn't mean you have to ask him on a date. Compliment him, learning how to flirt, all of these things. So flirtation and showing interest kind of go hand in hand. These things are definitely going to make him want you more, because that makes him feel good. And that's a very important thing to remember. The man truly wants the woman that he feels good when he's with, the woman that knows how to tap into his desires. And though we say the word stroke his ego, and many people put a negative connotation on that, let's be realistic. Everyone likes their ego stroked. Everyone likes to feel wanted and desired, men and women. So when a man gets that from a woman, it is very powerful. All right. So there's other things we can talk about, but I really want to stay on a healthier approach to quote unquote making him want you. But let's focus on that, making him want you. Here's the thing. There has to be a level of desire in that man already for you. All right. You can pique his interest. You can create a level of more desirability, but I don't want you to think you can force it out of him. I don't want you to try to get a man to want you who's showing you he doesn't. It's one thing when maybe he's holding back because he doesn't know that you have interest. It's another thing if he's shy, whatever the case may be. But if that guy is already dismissing you, not showing interest, I don't want you getting caught up in this cat and mouse game of trying to get him to now chase after you and want you. Because the problem is, even if you succeed, it is typically going to be a momentary thing that it isn't sustainable. So yes, you may be able to switch the interests of a man who's been dismissing you or showing that he doesn't want to be with you for various reasons. But then after he gets you, will he be willing to pour into you? Will he be willing to have a healthy relationship with you? Will he even be willing to be serious with you? Because yeah, he may now want you to go have sex. He may want you to go entertain him for the night. But does he actually want to build something with you? So what I really want, here's the important message I want you to listen to. You got to focus on connection. You got to focus on not just who you want as a man, who you connect with, who has a mutual desire with you, who's on the same page with you. Yes, you should still embrace the positive energy, the showing the desire, the being confident, all these things. I want you to be your best self, because in being your best self, you will attract the man who is best for you. That's the key. It's not about the man you want. A lot of women have gotten the man they want and still ended up miserable. Still ended up in a dead-end relationship, dead-end marriage. It's gone completely left because who they wanted wasn't who they needed. Who they wanted, they didn't have a true connection with. We got to start there. And when we find that connection, everything else can fall into place. You won't have to do any tips and tricks with the guy you have a real connection with. You will simply have to reciprocate his efforts. You have to make sure you put your best foot forward, and he has to make sure he puts his best foot forward. But you guys will be able to flow together, love each other, pour into each other, and have an amazing relationship. So if you came to this video trying to figure out how to get that specific man to want you, I want you to pray about it. If you're not a believer, then that won't apply, and I understand. But if you are a believer, I highly want to encourage you to pray, should you even be entertaining this man? Does God want this man for you? Because if he's not that guy, I don't want you wasting a second of your time and energy on this man who doesn't belong in your life anyway. It won't be for your own good if you try to make things work with a man who does not align with you, who is not the man God has for you, who does not have a connection with you. I first posted in my story, I got to read this from my phone, and the quote I posted in my story was, in a relationship, you can't just do what you want. You have to always think about the other person, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. I think that's a great quote. You know, most people would agree. So I get a response to my IG story, and this woman says, she says, I like what you said. But why do a lot of men feel that when they get in a relationship with a woman, they feel that they have to take control and want the woman to always listen to them? Like we don't have our own opinion on certain things. So, why does this happen? Well, there's a few angles we got to discuss here, all right? And my goal is to really help you understand this in a way that you're going to be at peace with, all right? And it won't be a struggle for you to embrace this information. So number one, why do men come into relationships attempting to take control? Now, let's get out the way. Some men are just manipulating, bad, evil men who are looking to control the situation, to get what they want, have you doing as they say, trying to be your dictator, and there's nothing healthy about what their intentions are in that situation. But that is not all men, all right? I even feel the need to say that's not most men. That's not most of the men that most people have encountered, all right? However, most men understand, or a lot of men are learning the fact that if you come into a relationship not showing an ability to lead, not showing an assertiveness in that relationship, not exuding a level of masculine energy, you're going to lose in the end. So when men come in to take control, there's this very conflicting message in society. You have one message that says, it's about partnership and teamwork and equality and listen to your woman and all these things. And don't get me wrong, there's a level of truth to that, a level of it, and I'll explain it more as we go along. But then there's also the message of women respond to authoritative men. Women respond to men who are assertive. Women respond to men who do take charge. And men have seen other men who were more passive, who became more yes men, end up getting run over, end up getting played, end up getting cheated on by that woman. Because even the women who say, be this type of man, it doesn't seem to work out. At least that's not what men are seeing in the long run. So when men come into a relationship and they're attempting to take control, they're attempting to assert respect in the relationship. Because if you don't listen to your man, do you really respect him? Like, think about it. What reason, other than trauma from past relationships that you need to heal from, all right, which is a big reason, which happens more often than not, what other reason is there that you don't listen to that man? And a lot of it is because, one, you want to be in control, all right, outside of the past trauma, or you don't trust this man's decision-making process and his ability to lead, i.e., you don't respect him. So naturally, a lot of men are trying to establish that dynamic from the jump. Now, the woman asks, well, why can't they listen to the woman like she doesn't have an opinion? Now, I'm a firm believer that every man, to be a great leader, you have to listen to your partner. You have to listen to your teammates. Even in basketball, if you just try to run the show as the captain of the team and you don't hear other people out, you can destroy team morale. You can make them resent you. People want to feel like they're contributing to the team, to this unit that we have that's trying to work together to make something special happen. So it is always wise to listen. So if you're a man watching this, I'm going to always say, you have to make time to listen to your woman if you're trying to have a healthy relationship. However, this is a big however, okay? As a woman, back to the women now, you have to understand that hearing your opinion doesn't mean he has to take your opinion. Doesn't mean he has to implement it. And here is where we have a huge conflict. So I was speaking to a friend the other day, and we talked about how, listen, a lot of women, they want to be acknowledged. They want to be heard in that relationship. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I was encouraging him to do this with his partner. He said, listen, man, I do. I try to make sure I always listen to her. He told me how he had a situation the other day. He got her opinion and she gave some really good insight. But ultimately, he decided to go a route that was different than what she suggested. So when they reconvened their conversation, they discussed things and he told her what he actually did, well, she got upset. And it was no longer good enough that he heard her out. It's why the hell did you take my advice? Why didn't you do what I tell you to do? Is my advice not good enough for you? And so here's the thing. As a woman, you have to understand, are you fighting to be heard or are you fighting to be obeyed? Are you trying to make that man do as you say, or do you just want him to respect and value your opinion? But not using your input doesn't mean your opinion wasn't valued. And what you have to understand, and I would encourage this for men and women, when someone doesn't take your suggestion, do not take it as a personal attack. Do not internalize it. Don't take it as, oh, well, my suggestion is no longer good enough. There's various reasons why that person may have wanted to go a different way. So in that situation, the man may have simply wanted to try what he felt an inkling or an urge to at least test out to see if he was right. All right. And in the end, if he turns out being wrong in that situation, he can always make an adjustment and now implement the information you gave him. But him not going with it initially was not a sign of disrespect. However, his partner reacted in that way. And so a lot of situations where we say, why won't men listen? Again, is the issue listening or doing as you told them? Now, let's go back to why you need to listen to him. So as I said earlier, a lot of men have seen this dynamic where men become yes men. And in becoming a yes man, they essentially lose the respect of the woman. So here's the crazy part. You want to be heard, and some of y'all want to be obeyed. Let's just keep it real. That's what some of y'all really want. Hopefully you'll change that after this. But the problem is, if he actually gives in to continuously obeying you, all right, you will start to view him differently. Then you will start to condition him to the fact that he has to go off of what you say if he wants to avoid any drama and nonsense. So now here's what this can potentially set up. Now you have a situation where this man cannot operate outside of your input. And that's going to become very annoying in certain situations. Could you imagine? I've seen it plenty of times. You're dealing with the kids. This man needs to handle some business and he keeps bothering you about what he should do. And you're like, well, damn, don't you see I'm with the kids? Don't you see I'm busy? You can't make your own decision. You can't think for yourself. You will become annoyed with this man, but you don't realize you set him up for this. This is the path you led things on. Now, please understand, I'm not trying to simply blame women, because for the men listening, you have to hold your ground in establishing that you can make your own decisions, that you can lead. Again, lead with love, lead with listening to your woman as far as hearing her out, but you do need to show that you can make your own decisions. But ladies, yes, please, because it was a woman who asked me this question, ask yourself what you're setting yourself up for. Ask yourself what's really going to happen here, because again, You can't expect to continuously take issue with him not doing as you suggested and not think it's going to create an unhealthy dynamic where now he either cannot operate without your input, or even in him doing as you tell him, he's lost his confidence, his masculine energy is not there. And here's the thing that people don't understand with the masculine and feminine balance, all right? There's a lot of relationships right now who may be continuing or still together despite the fact that the woman is actually more masculine and the man's more feminine, all right? Or it's a very neutral energy relationship. But the cost of that, all right, is that they're not as happy as you think. The cost of that is they're not having sex like they used to. You see, when you remove the proper balance of masculine and feminine, you undermine the sexual nature of male-female relationships. And now neither one is truly fulfilled in that relationship. So you may fool yourself into thinking this is okay or this can actually work because you see people operating in it and quote unquote staying together. But as I say all the time, staying together is not a qualifier of success, all right? There are plenty of people who stay in miserable relationships. There are plenty of people who are fronting on Instagram and social media, posting pictures like they're happy, and they are very unhappy. And yes, many of these situations have a dynamic where the balance of masculine and feminine is completely thrown off. So what you have to understand is, again, we have to establish a healthy dynamic. When I say, or when the title of this video says, why you need to listen to your man, it's about what do you want to be dealing with in the long term? Do you want to deal with a man that you have to lead or is capable of leading you? Again, we're always talking about leading with love. We're talking about healthy relationships. We're talking about a man who's a good man for you leading. I'm not saying giving the lead to an unhealthy, toxic man, because if he is unhealthy and toxic, why the hell are you in a relationship with him to begin with? You need to leave. But we're talking about a good man, good intentions, loves you. You have to say, okay, if I want to not have that burden consistently on me, then let me get into the habit of practicing to listen to him. Let me get into the habit of allowing him to carry out his own thought processes and decisions, but always showing respect for you as a woman in the relationship. And what will happen is, what many don't realize is if you want that man to be a leader, you're undermining his growth as one if you keep interjecting and trying to overrun him. If you keep trying to control the situation, how does he learn to lead himself? It's like having a child and you're always telling the child what to do. At what point can the child learn for themselves and realize how to make better decisions if they're not allowed to make their own decisions? All right? Now, you may say to yourselves, well, what if his decision can completely destroy this relationship? What if, let's say, he wants to invest money into something that if we lose this investment, it's going to have a huge negative impact on the relationship? All right, well, this is where we create safety measures, all right? Just in case decisions may not always be the best. So if you feel strongly, and he feels strong about your position, he feels strongly about his position, the great compromise is, okay, what's a safety measure? And there won't always be money involved, but what are the things we can have as plan B in case we start to see plan A is going off the rails, all right? So we're going to still respect the decision he wants to make. And the interesting thing is, by offering the plan B, he may eventually see, okay, you know what? Now that I've seen this whole picture, you're right. Or maybe we just go straight to plan B because that's actually a better plan overall. Offering that perspective, but allowing him to come to that realization is going to be very helpful, but it still empowers him to lead, all right? So have your safety measures, have your compromises that allow you to still feel at peace, but you have to practice listening to him, all right? And again, as he becomes stronger and he shows now a track record of success, because here's what will happen. You keep giving him the opportunity to make those decisions, all right, and have your safety measures to be safe. And then let's say his decision works. Then y'all do it again and it works. Now you start to naturally become more confident in his ability to lead and make decisions, all right? Now, again, if you are just so against his ability to make a decision that you don't even want to give him a chance, then I will go back to why are you in this relationship? Because are you going to be happy always controlling the situation and having the burden on you? I cannot tell you how many times I have counseled women, some of them married 20 years, all right? And I remember one time I went to an event and she said, how do I get my man to be more assertive? She had been married about 22 years. How do I get my man to be more assertive, make decisions, do things on his own? I said, well, listen, was he always like this? Or was he like this when y'all got married? She said, yes. I said, so you've been pretty much running the show this whole time? She said, yes. I said, well, you set the stage for this. Not to blame her completely, but what I'm saying is you have to recognize how you start in these relationships will be how you finish many times. And if you start off with you carrying the burden, you better believe there's a very good chance you're going to end up always carrying the burden. And if you don't want that, let's make that change. But here's another reason why you need to listen to your man. Because a lot of men aren't being listened to. The reality is that a lot of women and society creates this perception that men are horrible communicators and women are awesome communicators. All right. Now, I will acknowledge that men need a lot of help when it comes to communication. But let me say, and I say this with love and respect, women are horrible communicators. All right. That's just the bottom line. Y'all have been lied to. Y'all communication skills are not as good as you think they are. And because one, many women are not mindful of their energy when they speak to somebody. So how that is, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And how you're saying it is throwing the message off. And many women are not actually actively listening to that man. So a lot of men are in relationships right now and they feel unheard. All right. You hear a lot of women complain about that. The thing is, it's happening to the men, but they don't make the complaints like the women do. They're not expressing out loud and to everyone else how they feel unheard. When men feel unheard, they shut down. When men feel unheard, they might talk to their homeboys, and God forbid, some of them talk to other women. If we're going to keep it real, all right? Not excusing it or making it okay, but this is what happens. They will find their outlet or they will shut down. And unfortunately, again, they will remain in the relationship, all right, physically, but it doesn't mean that emotionally they haven't checked out or they're not elsewhere. And that's a huge problem. That's a very unhealthy dynamic. Now, if you're a man watching this, I'm going to encourage you to fight the urge to shut down. So the same way I tell women, if you can't respect him and allow him to lead and trust his decision-making process, why are you with him? What I'm going to say to you, if you can't talk to her and find a way to make this work, why are you with her? Listen, I'm not in the business of keeping two people together to have an unhealthy relationship. I am not here to safeguard toxic nonsense going on in people's relationships. I'm here to either help you get to a better place in it or out of it. One way or another, you need to have a healthy environment in your life. And if your relationship cannot get there with you, then that relationship needs to go. But back to the main point here. Yes, as men, do not shut down. Do not go to outside sources to talk. You got to be able to talk to your woman. But ladies, you got to learn how to listen and how to talk to your man. And understand that it's not just about how you think you should be received or how you think he should accept you talking to him. It's about how he wants to receive you and how you need to receive him. You both need to sit down at the table and discuss what are healthy communication methods. We can have even agreements on, okay, if we know we're upset, what's the rule? Maybe we have a 2-hour rule. I'm just giving a random example where if we know we're upset, we say 2-hour rule. We're going to pause for 2 hours, go in our corners, calm ourselves down to make sure we don't say nothing we're going to regret. And then we come back to the table and talk calmly. All right. We also can be making time to talk, meaning, you know how people have date nights? Well, maybe there's communication night. And communication night doesn't have to be an all-night thing. But even if once a week, once every couple weeks, we dedicate an hour with no distractions, no interruptions. And I'm just giving that as an example. Again, it can be more than that. It can be whatever you find that works best for the both of you. But having that intentional communication, because some of y'all are just freestyling your relationships, and the communication has no depth to it anymore. You guys aren't really diving into each other, and therefore you're not growing together and growing closer. You're only growing apart. But this communication night, all right, is a time to be intentional with more in-depth conversation, intentional with reconnecting in a way that you guys are able to bond and grow stronger and get on the same page. As well as, though this is kind of different, but I want to throw it in there, I believe in relationship checkups, which is the same kind of premise where we agree to maybe once every 3 months, we sit down, or once a month, whatever. Like, again, what works for you both. We sit down, we have a designated day and time where we sit down and we lay out the pros and the cons, what's working, what's not working, what we need to improve, what we're happy with, all these different things. We do a relationship checkup, relationship review, all right? This will make sure we don't we don't stray too far from the path. We're always remaining on the same page. We're always feeling like we have a safe space where we can be heard and express ourselves. Because that's what's important here. This whole listening to your man or hearing your woman out, it's also about creating a safe space where they can feel comfortable completely being transparent. We have to learn not to take offense to something that someone says. We have to learn not to internalize it all the time. Hear them, attempt to understand and connect or bond on a deeper level. As a woman, many of you are typically drawn to more masculine men. But part of the struggle in attracting that masculine man is answering the question, are you exuding your feminine energy? Are you leading with the energy that's going to draw to you the things that you desire and want in your life? And not just in the sense of that masculine man, but the overall quality of your life. Because femininity, again, is your power. It is your superpower. It is that thing that once you unlock it, you are going to see things get so much better. So I'm going to break down for you some of the feminine qualities and traits that men love in women. But again, understand that it's not just for them, it's for you. Now, but before I begin, be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel so you can watch all my other videos. But number one on this list is being open and receptive. So what do I mean by that? When you are a woman walking in your feminine energy, you are open to love. You are able to receive compliments. You are able to allow a man to do for you. And that's a huge, important point because so many women, so many of you struggle right now with letting a man do for you. And you don't understand how that doesn't exude femininity, all right? Being too caught up in your independence, being too walled up, because the reality is that letting him do for you requires you to be vulnerable. And many of you fear that vulnerability. You not only fear that vulnerability, hell, you may even fear femininity as a whole, because to you, femininity may equate to weakness. Femininity equates to, that's what got me hurt in the past. And so now you think by having that wall up, by I'll take care of it myself, by not having to rely on no man, I emotionally protect myself from being hurt and let down. But in actuality, you cause more damage. You add more stress to your life. And you don't allow your feminine energy to come out of you, which it not only repels the kind of man that you want, that masculine man, it draws in the man who will put the burden on your back, who will leech off of you, who doesn't mind you being the one carrying all the stress and being overwhelmed, because those men don't walk in their masculine energy. Now, I don't want to get too far off the point here. Let's get back to being open and receptive. That is a quality that the masculine man loves to see in a woman, because you have to also understand that giving to you, providing for you, is something that a masculine man wants to do. And when you're not able to receive that, you essentially kill his ability to pour love, to pour desire, to feel good about what he also brings to the table into your life. Because whether we want to accept it or not, Everyone wants to feel needed and valued in a relationship. They want to feel needed and valued by that person they take interest in. And by not allowing him to pour into you in this way because you are not receptive, you kill that. You choke the life out of that. And again, you set yourself on the path to receive the type of men who will drain you rather than the men who will fill your cup and uplift you and take those burdens off your back. So embrace being more receptive. And it's not just being receptive to, again, him doing for you. It's being receptive to a man giving you a compliment. It's being receptive to love in general, being open to it. Many of you say you want love, but you're scared as hell of it. You are running for the hills when you see true love come your way because, again, that love requires vulnerability. And so let me add this. If you are struggling in this area, it starts with you healing. I mean, hell, to unlock your feminine energy as a whole, you've got to embrace healing. It is what is truly necessary in this process. And again, I want you to understand healing, unlocking your femininity, it's not just about the men. I feel like I have to stress that point so you understand this is for you first and foremost. But it will not just benefit you. Yes, it will benefit your ability to have this amazing relationship. It will benefit if you have kids already. It will benefit how you engage with others around you. So be willing to embrace healing so that you can become more receptive, so that you can start exuding more of your feminine energy. The second feminine quality that men love in women is being positive and encouraging. All right? No, I would argue most men do not want to deal with a negative woman. And negativity does not convey femininity. All right? And so you've got to get to a better place. Now, what contributes to that, one little thing that helps, is smiling more. Now, I know some of y'all are probably already making a face because I'm telling you to smile more, right? And some of you don't like to be told that you need to smile more. But please understand that smiling is good for your soul, number one. But yes, it helps convey more positive energy and femininity. There was a study that was done that shows men find women more attractive when they smile. That's just the reality. And now some of you may be saying, well, men need to smile too. I'm not saying men shouldn't smile too, but the same study found that men who weren't smiling or smiling in their pictures actually were being found more attractive. And the reason is because the non-smile conveyed more of this masculine energy. And the smile taps more into your feminine energy. Now, please understand, we all have masculine and feminine energy in us. We all will have to tap into both sides at different times. But there is a dominant energy that each side has to walk in if they want to get certain results, and what I would argue are the best results in their life. All right? So, yes, tapping into that positivity. And let me also say, in regards to the smiling becomes easy when you're at peace from within. And so that goes back to the healing again. And you're going to notice everything I mentioned on this list, at the root of it is you needing to heal if you're struggling in this area. But understand that, yes, smiling, being more positive with your words, with your attitude, with your overall energy is a feminine quality that men truly love in a woman and men are more drawn to in a woman. So now let's move on to number 3. And I think you're going to find number 3 a little interesting. Third one is knowing how to persuade, not dictate. All right? So here's the thing. Feminine energy at its core can be very seductive, very sly, very delicate with the approach, because the feminine energy, again, knows how to persuade, knows how to get what they want out of people using more positive, softer energy. The person who dictates is, well, you need to do this and you need to do that, and they're telling you what to do. It's a harder energy that repels men, or more specifically, repels masculine men, repels men who want a healthy, loving relationship with a woman. That's not what a man is drawn to. The same way, listen, You don't want someone who's dictating to you, all right? You want someone that, yes, can lead. You want someone who's strong, can make decisions, but not just telling you what to do, end the story, right? So why the hell would he want that? That's not what he wants. But as a woman, when you know how to use your feminine energy, you technically can still get what you want without having to be a dictator. Now listen, here's a simple example. Have you ever noticed a woman who uses terms of endearment with everyone? Everyone is baby, sweetheart, honey, all right, when she talks to people. If you paid attention and watched her, do you ever see that woman having a hard time to get a man to do her a favor? No. She'll have a man washing her car, carrying her groceries, opening her door. Why? Because she knows how to talk to the men. She knows how to convey that persuasive, feminine, even seductive energy. And it doesn't have to be seductive in this sexual way, but seductive in a way that, again, it reels the men in. It kind of puts men in a trance. And it's like, okay, like they'll do what you say. You know what I'm saying? So when you learn how to master that, men, whether knowingly or unknowingly, love that. Love that you know how to talk to me in a way that, yes, can still get me to see your side or still get me to embrace what you desire here without just trying to run me and tell me what to do. And I'm going to give you one quick example using myself, all right? I remember this was a long time ago. I had a friend, a woman friend, genuine friend, all right, platonic friend. And, you know, she would call me, and the first thing she would do when she calls me is she'll say, "What are you doing?" And my response would be, "None of your damn business." All right? Every single time. Now, here's the thing. I did not have a problem telling a woman what I was doing, friend or no friend. My issue was how she was talking to me. You're talking to me like I'm your child. You're questioning me like I have to answer you right now. Whereas another woman can call me and say, "Hey, what are you up to?" And I'll give them the whole damn rundown of what I'm doing, what I did earlier, what I plan on doing later. When you know how to talk to a man, it's easier for him to open up. He's more willing to open up. But when you come across with that attacking energy, you will shut things down. You will cause things to be thrown left. So be mindful of that. Learn how to persuade rather than dictate. That's going to go a long way with exuding a feminine quality that men are definitely drawn to. So now we're on number 4, and number 4 is practicing self-care and keeping yourself up, all right? Masculine men, or men in general typically, they love a woman who takes care of herself. They are drawn to a woman who is, and again, not just taking care of yourself. Yes, there is a part of it that is taking care of how you look and keeping up your look and your presentation. That's just real. That's just is what it is. And again, the more masculine a man is, the more that he may desire that in his woman, because that does pour into feminine energy, all right? But it goes beyond just how you are presenting yourself physically. It is about self-care on all levels, because what you have to understand is this. If you don't take care of yourself overall, mentally, emotionally, all these things, spiritually, then you will start to deteriorate in a way that you can't show up in those other feminine ways that we've already talked about and will continue to discuss. You won't have the energy for that positivity. You won't be able to be as patient and persuading. You won't have the energy to even care about how you look today because you're so beat down and worn out. So when you don't take care of you, you no longer become good for him, for yourself. You just completely throw things off track. So when I say self-care, I mean it as I say it. Self-care overall. You need a day where you have a break. You need a day to recharge your batteries. And I would argue that any man who is serious about you, cares about you, and is a man who truly walks in his masculine is not going to have a problem. Is going to embrace you doing what you need to make sure you can always bring your best to the table. And so you've got to take an inventory, or you've got to create a structure in your life that allows you to have me time, that allows you to pour into yourself. Many of you are so burnt out and burdened by all the things going on in your life. And essentially life is running you, you're not running your life. And you don't realize how that is stopping you from walking in your feminine energy. And again, exuding that feminine energy. So, if anyone's saying, well, I just don't have time. Listen, you do. You have to make time. You've got to be strategic. You got to sit down and map out, okay, what are my hours? What am I doing every day? How can I rearrange my time? I'm going to give you one quick story. I had a client, this was years ago, and she came to me and she was struggling with dating and relationships. I think she had been divorced for a few years. Anyways, she also had 2 kids. And so I noticed this woman was overwhelmed, stressed, and definitely not walking in her feminine energy. So I was like, okay, give me your schedule. What's your schedule looking like? And she was running down what she works 9 to 5 during the week. When she comes home, she's cooking for the kids. She's taking care of them. She's a single mother, all these things. I said, okay, well, what about the weekends? Well, on the weekends, it's time to clean the house. She has to clean the kids' room. I said, wait a minute, stop right there. How old are the kids? She was like 14 and 15. I said, wait a minute. So you got what I call grown-ass kids, all right? 14, 15, able-bodied children, okay? And you're cleaning their room? This is your weekend that you should be relaxing and you have to clean your kids' room? Oh, hell no. This is a problem. So when you say to me, you don't have time, no, you have not created a structure that gives you the time. So I gave her the homework assignment of, no, for the next 2 weeks, I need you to train those kids how to clean their room and leave it on them. And to be honest with you, you may want, and I know some of you may be saying, well, they don't clean it right or they don't do it, so I got to pick up after them. Listen, it's not that I want you to accept your child's dirty room, right? But if let's just say you're able to get things to a place where the children are respecting the common areas, but their room isn't always the cleanest on the weekends. If you have to take yourself out of your time to relax and recharge so that you can clean up after them, like that's not worth it to ensure their room stays clean. I just don't think that's worth your peace and sanity. And you got to be honest with yourself. Are you cleaning their room because it's really that important, or is that a distraction for you? Are you just finding ways to stay busy because you don't want to face the reality of your life? And I know that's hitting some of y'all's spirit because that's what some of y'all are doing. And you're using all this, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do that. No, you are trying to distract yourself by overfilling your plate with all these chores and extra activities that don't need to be there. Stop. Stop doing that. And this goes back to you need to heal so that you stop trying to distract yourself, that you address whatever deeper issues are going on there, and that you can start creating a life that allows you to have more time for yourself and a priority on self-care, which, yes, will allow you to walk more in your feminine energy and exude it and create an overall better quality of life. All right. Whew. So a lot just came out there. All right. But let's keep going. Let's get to number 5. But before I mention number 5, listen, if you notice, I keep talking about healing. We're clearly talking about feminine energy and feminine qualities. But I also want you to find more peace, find your purpose. I want you to be able to experience all the things that you desire in life. So a lot of you ask me about one-on-one coaching. Well, what I do have for you is my special coaching program. Go to www.receivingmyblessings.com or click the links in the description or the comment section. It has helped thousands of women. You are going to love it. It's going to be exactly what you need because, again, we've got to prioritize our growth, our self-care, our healing, and invest in that. And this is going to allow you to go on a journey with other like-minded women who are all encouraging each other and getting to a better place. So again, click that link in the description or in the comment section or go to receivingmyblessings.com. So now number 5 is being attentive and considerate, all right? Being attentive, being considerate, being nurturing are all very feminine qualities. And men love that. Now, I feel the need to say this, though this may sound weird, but I'm going to say it. You can see how much men love this by seeing how some men are with their mothers. All right? Now, listen, I'm the first one to say I don't want men to be mama's boys in the sense that they don't know how to detach from their mother and prioritize their wife or their partner, right? But I do think there is plenty to learn from that dynamic. And when these men are so attached or loyal to their mothers, it's because that mother pours into them in those ways. She's attentive, she's considerate, she's very encouraging, very supporting. All of those things are feminine qualities that men desire and want in a woman. And sometimes what happens is that because he does not get those qualities from his partner, and we can discuss all the reasons why he's with a woman who doesn't give him that, but the point is, when he does not get that from his partner, but his mother gives him that, you will see him be more attached to his mother than his partner. You will see him prioritize his mother and allow her in some cases to even dictate the relationship more than considering how his partner feels. Because in some ways, the one who gives those qualities holds the power. I kind of hate to phrase it that way, but it's a reality. It does play out that way in so many scenarios. So I'm not telling you this to simply make you think, oh, now I have all the power, but it is to help you understand that, yes, it will strengthen your relationship. It will draw more masculine men to you. It will, again, also allow you to walk more in your femininity. And you have to understand that the more you're able to tap into these feminine qualities in other ways, the more it feeds your other feminine qualities. So it kind of helps build you up overall. And again, brings you to a better place. And real quick, I have a story I have to mention that conveys this a little bit more too. So I remember one time I had this client. She was in London. She might be watching this one day. I don't know. But anyways, she's going to laugh when she hears the story. So she's in London, and beautiful woman, actually was a model. Anyways, she told me one time how, she wasn't getting approached by guys. Guys weren't approaching her. Guys were not asking her on a date. And we would do sessions by Skype. And I was like, hey, listen, I think it's because you look hard. You don't look approachable. You know what I'm saying? And when you're exuding a hard energy and you're good looking, that actually can make you even more intimidating for a man to want to approach you. So I was like, I think you need to, exude more feminine energy. And she was like, what you want me to do? You want me to walk around with a flower in my head? And I said, yes. I said, for 1 week, I want you to put a flower in your hair. I seriously said this. Put a flower in your head. I want you to wear nothing but pastel colors, bright colors, feminine clothes, dresses, skirts, all that. Let's do that for 1 week and let's see what happens. I swear to y'all, on day 2 of the experiment, she was asked out on a date. But that's not even the really good part about the story. The good part was when we talked about it, she said, you know what? What she loved most is that she felt like a woman. For the first time in a long time, she felt like a woman and it felt good. And that's why that's one of the reasons why I'm very passionate about helping you in this journey of tapping more into your feminine energy. Because again, though I'm presenting it as qualities men love, it's so much more about you and what's going to make you happier and give you more peace. So anyways, getting back to the original point, being able to be more attentive, being more nurturing, caring, all those things definitely exude feminine energy and make you a much more desirable woman to a lot of men. All right, so now number 6 is being lighthearted and having a sense of humor. All right. Again, femininity knows how to be playful, knows how to just have fun, knows how to not be so damn serious, all right? And again, especially when we're talking about masculine men who, as I mentioned earlier, are already dealing with a world that's very serious, already dealing with all kinds of things, to be able to come home to someone or come to someone who is peaceful, joyful, playful, fun, that's such a refreshing thing, all right? And so men love when they find that in a woman. Men love when there's a woman they can crack jokes with and she can laugh rather than be offended. Ain't nothing worse than being with a woman who's always so damn serious, always taking something the wrong damn way, all right? And you're generally just making a joke. You're not even trying to insult, but she has to turn it into something negative. That just drains a man. And he's not going to want to commit to that, hold on to that, or again, he's not going to be drawn to that. So you want to make sure that you are not holding on to the energy of finding a reason to be offended. You know, and in a world today that people are quick to be offended, think about it, like it's just so draining at times. So definitely tapping into more of a lightheartedness, having a sense of humor, being able to just enjoy life and have fun and helping him relax. Because a lot of times the masculine man may struggle with knowing how to just relax. So having that woman that brings that balance to him becomes very valuable and highly desired. All right, so now we are at number 7. And the 7th feminine quality men love in a woman is being willing to listen and learn. I had to throw in the learn part, all right? Because I'm sure you've heard the listen part, but let's break it down real quick. So again, now first let me make something very clear. When I say listen, I don't mean it's just simply do as he says, right? Is there a level of being cooperative, being able to just embrace, all right, this is what he wants to do, let me go along with that, being able to flow with this man? Yes, there is a level of that. Do I want you to let a man drive you off a cliff? Hell no. You know what I'm saying? But of course, if we're talking about a genuine guy here, a man who's truly in his masculine health, and I don't feel the need to say healthy masculine, because true masculine to me is healthy, especially when he's serious about a woman, then in that case, yeah, there is that degree of being able to listen and allow him to lead in that way, right? But also listening to him in the sense of, and even more importantly, allowing him to feel like he can talk to you, that he can express himself to you, that you won't throw things back in his face, that you won't make him feel like less of a man if he has a moment of weakness, that you will actually try to understand where he's coming from rather than listen and rebuttal it, or listen and overpower it with your own perceptions and feelings and emotions. Sometimes as a woman, some women allow their emotions in the moment to get the best of them to where they don't realize you're completely ignoring what the man just said to you, or you're not processing his actual words. You're busy interpreting and analyzing. He said he wants to go out and have some chicken. I don't know why I'm talking about chicken right now, but he wants to go out and get him some chicken, and you're like, what he really wants to do is go meet that chick he saw the other day. Like, and I'm just coming up with some extreme example. But what I'm saying is sometimes y'all are so in your head that you're not listening to him. You're not taking him for his words. You're just interpreting and analyzing, and that becomes very frustrating. You got to learn how to just listen, how to just give him the benefit of the doubt. If he's showing you that he can't be trusted, then my thing is, why are you even with him? Why are you even entertaining him? You know what I'm saying? So if that's the argument you're going to make, then let the man go. But outside of that, learn to listen. But I said listen and learn. So it's hearing what he has to say and learning from the learnable moments. Learning him, learning his desires, learning how he works, learning how he likes to be received, learning what his love languages are, all right? And of course, this is a two-way street. Of course, we want the man to learn you as well. We want the man to listen to you as well. It goes without saying right now. But the focus is on you and the feminine qualities that is going to draw that man in, or men love to see in a woman. And that willingness to listen and understand and learn is a beautiful thing, and again, allows you to be in your feminine in that moment. So you have to be willing to embrace that, and if you do, you're going to see a great benefit from it. And now number 8 is being selective. Now this one, I kind of was on the fence about throwing it in there. But let me just explain my logic, and it may be right or wrong. It's just my perception, and here's why I mentioned being selective. I do believe that being selective speaks more to femininity. And I say that because, and I feel a little funny saying this, but I'm just going to tell you what I was thinking earlier. I say it because I thought about it in the sense of just even being sexual, right? Whereas men tend to be a little less selective with who they may lay down with. They might tend to be a little bit more all over the place. One could argue that this desire to be running the streets speaks to a masculine energy, an alpha energy, whatever. That argument can be made, right? Whereas women typically tend to be more reserved. Now, some people can argue that's due to societal conditioning. We're not going to get into all that right now. But the reason why I mentioned selective is because, yes, you tend to see that the woman, the feminine, tends to be more mindful of who she's going to be dealing with. She's not as quick to be wanting to run the streets as a man. And so I do think that whether it is viewed as feminine or not, I'm just giving you the explanation as to why I included it as a feminine trait. But whether you view it as feminine or not, I still do think we can accurately say that men do love to see a woman who is selective, a woman who is not for everyone, a woman who is not easily gotten. And again, but let me stress, when I say not easily gotten, I do not mean, and I am not encouraging playing hard to get. It just means you have standards. And that you're not for everybody. You don't get with this any old man who comes your way making half an effort. That for the men who come correct, for the men who are of quality, because I think some women don't understand that when men see women deal with other men that man may view as low quality, that can reflect poorly on the woman. All right? And that can make the woman less desirable. Like, oh, that's the type of dude she deals with? Now it's like some men may be less likely to view her now as someone he wants to take serious because of the history of the type of guy she dealt with. So by being more selective, by seeming to be a woman who only deals with a certain good quality of man, or a man who brings more to the table, that can make a woman more desirable to a lot of men, and more specifically to a more masculine man. All right? So again, we can argue whether it's truly a feminine trait or not when it comes to being selective, but I do think it is something that men like to see in a woman. And now, number 9, and the last feminine trait men love to see in women is being willing to embrace his lead. So this kind of goes hand in hand with being willing to listen, but I want to go a little further than that. Again, the masculine man is a man who has learned how to lead. And when I say lead, please understand, I'm not talking about lead as a dictator. I'm talking about lead with love. I'm talking leading with having your best interests at heart. I'm talking about leading, making sure I am protecting you, all right, and trying to give you the best as well as give me what I need as well. Making sure we're both happy here. All right, that kind of quality leadership that leads to successful, great, positive, fruitful things. All right. The man who is masculine needs a woman who can embrace his lead, who can trust his leadership. And again, if you struggle to trust a man's leadership, you have to be able to be honest about, is it coming from a lack of healing from what you've been through or seen other women been through? Or is it because this man is lacking certain qualities that allow you to embrace that in him? And if he lacks those qualities, again, the question becomes either why are you with him, or at the very least, address it with him to see if he can correct it so that now we can get things in order. Because if you cannot embrace his lead, what's going to happen is that you will end up being the leader. And if you end up being the leader, you have now walked out of your feminine and you've become the masculine. And now you will condition this man if he isn't truly in his masculine. And I would argue if he's allowing you to now just lead the way, he's probably not truly walked in his masculine. it now becomes a dynamic where the burden is on you. You'll start to resent this man. You'll start to lose respect for this man. It will go downhill at some point. So even though, yes, it doesn't mean that there isn't going to be a moment where the woman may not find herself leading in a situation or the man is leaning on her expertise or whatever. But if it becomes that she is the constant leader, that's going to be a situation that doesn't end well for most people. And it damn sure isn't going to be a situation that allows you to stay and walk in your feminine and exude the energy that that man is going to truly be drawn to, that's going to truly give you the peace, harmony, and happiness that you desire and create the amazing, successful relationship that you deserve. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. So there's a quote that says, texting is not courting. Now, some of you might agree, some of you might disagree, but I think we can all agree that an over-reliance on text has made it harder for people to decipher